Elon Musk once said that your degree does not matter. Henry Ford once said mistakes even have value. And Warren Buffett said that integrity is more important than intelligence or initiative. We've got to, what is quite rightly so, an incredible time in human evolution. Almost any of us can quite literally ask a computer program to write anything for us. Yet, with these incredible advances, we have arrived at a crossroads where the threat of technology drastically reducing employment is increasing by the minute, and society is scrambling to stay relevant. But a surprisingly small amount of people acknowledge the skills, the easy interpersonal skills that give us the ability to lead a business, be liked, and maintain relationships may be the most critical things for us to learn in the 21st century. The majority of society is on a road to ruin, but it does not have to be this way, and you can most certainly hit the fast lane on knowing what you need to know to stand out. Before I started my career, I was in such a bad place. I could not hold down a conversation, make a good first impression, or network to save my life. But after I implemented the habit of learning to improve my interpersonal skills, I felt that everything became so much easier. I won work, I could lead a team, and I got promoted to a director in my firm in about 3 years. And I still can't believe how many people are hitting the cruise control on their future. So in this video, I'm going to talk you through 10 critical but very simple steps to enhance your career and your entrepreneurial endeavors. Step 1, sleep. The reason I'm going to start with sleep improvement is having good quality sleep makes everything better and easier. Essentially, look at sleep as the foundation of your day and anything you want to achieve. Studies show that poor sleep reduces our ability to concentrate, it impacts our ability to store information, and it reduces our ability to deal with stress. Not to mention how low quality sleep over a long period of time increases our risk of heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, and a whole load of other nasties. But what's crazy is sleep is really easy to improve. It simply takes some education on understanding how it works to get a better night's sleep naturally. My sleeping tips are as follows, also evidence-based. Get morning sun, don't drink caffeine after 10 AM, eat 3 hours before dinner, wear blue light blocking glasses 2 hours before sleep, and turn off all artificial lights 1 hour before bed. Okay, next, first impressions. The first impression is something we make basically every day. It might be as simple as walking into a new coffee shop, meeting a new client, or being introduced to someone new by a friend. But there is some crazy old school advice out there about the first impressions being made in something like the first 30 seconds, because I've actually found research that indicates the first impression is made in about 3 seconds, or before you even open your mouth. So why are first impressions even important? Well, it is because we humans have something called a memory bias, in that we have a tendency to remember the first and last impressions more vividly than the details in between. This phenomenon is known as the primacy and the recency effect, meaning the first impression you make has a disproportionate impact on how others remember you. So 10 ways to make a good first impression are as follows. Dress appropriately, maintain good posture, offer a warm smile, make eye contact, use a firm handshake, be attentive, use welcoming body language, be enthusiastic, be polite, and be authentic. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about how to dress. And I think this is important because it's such an easy win in 2023. Generally speaking, in the 21st century, more and more people are dressing really casual at work, which I sort of agree with, because at the end of the day, if I'm writing reports, I don't see any need to be dressed in suit and tie. But because there's so many people doing this, it's becoming easier and easier to stand out by simply dressing to look professional on a daily basis. Remember, you might be meeting a new boss or a spouse or a new business partner, so don't miss out on an opportunity. Okay, so next up is conversation skills. And I think this one may be one of the more important elements to focus on because it goes hand in hand with first impressions. But secondly, it is critical for developing not only friendships, but also business relationships. So how do you shift from being someone who's not good at conversation to someone who is? Well, surprisingly easily. The way I see it is people want to talk about themselves more than they want to talk about you. And I will steal one of Dale Carnegie's quotes to illustrate. He says, "You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you." So the reason I use this quote is because engaging in memorable and good conversation is actually more about talking about the other person's interests less than it is about talking about yours. So to become a good conversationalist simply requires becoming interested in the other person and asking good, substantial questions. Lastly, when you need to focus on yourself, you need to improve your storytelling skills, which I will do another video on in the future. Next, time management. So time management is a good one to focus on because it is also a really easy win. And in today's fast and very demanding world, I'm gonna sneeze. Jesus. In today's fast-paced and very demanding world, we're constantly being bombarded with endless tasks, responsibilities, and distractions. So being able to manage our time effectively is not only important for our professional success, but also our personal lives. At the end of the day, time is our most valuable asset, and as corny as this may sound, we need to treasure it. So time management techniques 101. Firstly, prioritize. There is almost always more things to do than we have time to do it. Prioritize what is important. Plan and schedule. Use your calendar for this. This boosts productivity. Learn to say no. Set strategies and goals. And be smart about how you use your free time. Okay, next up is the habit of focus. Focus may be the hardest one of all. Essentially, our day-to-day lives is what I like to think of a minefield of focus bombs. I can be working away and I can be fully in the zone when my phone goes off. Focus bomb. I check my email and an ad pops up. Focus bomb. It is ridiculous, and I'm going to talk about focus in another video as it is a biggie of a subject. But for now, some focus tips. If you want to get in the zone, put your phone on do not disturb. Use ad blockers. Don't look at social media. Have a strategy for your work the day before. This means you can hit the ground running and get into the flow state before you start doom scrolling on social media. Lastly, try to become mindful about what you are focusing on. I have found that the more I practice mindfulness about everything on a day-to-day basis, I start to notice when I'm getting distracted by things that aren't that important. Okay, so next up is going to be listening. And like everything I'm talking about in this video is really simple and a really easy win. Think about how many times you've talked to somebody who is either looking right through you or is simply strategizing about how they're going to turn the conversation into something about them. So many people seem to think that good conversation is all about talking, but I believe it is far more about listening than it is about using your own voice. So how do you level up your listening skills? Well, it's really easy. Essentially, all you need to do is transform yourself into an active listener. And there are 5 things you need to do this. Number 1, receive the message. This stage is all about focus, being present and fully taken in the subject your counterpart is discussing. Step 2 is understanding, and of course this is going to be hard for some of us mere mortals if we're talking about rocket science. Step 3 is remembering, and again this might be a little bit tricky for some of us in the beginning stages, but I find if you've taken the time to receive and understand the message, remembering becomes a heck of a lot easier. I once read a quote by Naval Ravikant, and he said that if you fully understand something, you don't need to remember it, and I do find this to be true to some extent. Okay, number 4 is evaluating, and this is the stage you want to consider the message and work out substantial questions, which should assist in improving your conversation skills. Next up is writing, and the reasons I have writing in here is because good writing is not only received well, but it makes everyone's life easier. I actually know of clients who don't use certain people because the way they deliver information is too complicated and time consuming. But that is not to say I do not deliver adequate and comprehensive information. I simply believe information should only be delivered in a succinct manner. In all honesty, this has taken me a while to hone my skills on, but it is worth it because people will prefer to deal with someone who can make a complex subject simple. Fact. Okay, number 8 is going to be knowing how to find the answer. And I think this would have been more important in our parents' generations when you simply couldn't just Google most things. But I'm putting this in here because there is a simple and very important lesson to learn. You do not need to know every fact and figure. You just need to know how to find it when you need it. Pretty simple. But I want this section to include knowing how to deal with not knowing. Take, for example, your client or employer who has just asked for something that you, fair enough, just simply don't know. You can either say, I don't know, and look unprofessional, or you can say, let me find out and get back to you. There are some ways to caveat this to make yourself look a bit more intelligent. For example, okay, I'm not entirely sure because the legislation has just been updated. Let me check and get back to you. Something along those lines. It's so annoying when people say, I don't know. Okay, so next up is learning. And I reckon probably 90% of people in the world finish university or they finish school and they sort of stop learning. I actually can't believe how many of my friends haven't read a book this year. It's crazy. But this is a crucial aspect of personal and professional growth, and it equips us with the necessary information we need to thrive in an ever-evolving work environment. Also, beyond professional development, learning is vital for personal enrichment and fulfillment. It expands our horizons and fosters curiosity. And actually, being well read will improve your listening and writing and conversation skills. Okay, so next up, number 10, conflict management. Now, a question that I get all the time is, what is the biggest challenge I face running a surveying and architectural firm? And the simple answer is people. Whether it be staff, clients, contractors, planners, whoever, at the end of the day, we are all humans and we have different requirements, goals, emotions, etc. There is no set way to deal with every one person. And I think in every business and generally in life, you are inevitably going to piss somebody off. And this is why you need to hone down your conflict management skills, because you never know when you're going to need them. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is discipline. If there is one reason why I've done well in my career, managed to buy an apartment, managed to be a semi-professional athlete, is because I'm freaking disciplined. Now, I do think discipline is easier for things that are fun, for sure, but at the end of the day, we need to sometimes force ourselves through the early mornings, the late nights, and the really boring tasks. That is simply what life is, sometimes really boring. And I think it's the people who can push through this, the ones who can really just make themselves do the thing when it's really boring, are the people who are successful. Okay, so those are 10 things that I think are really important in professional development and generally life. I'd really like to know which one you think is most important, and also if I've missed anything, please let me know. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.